Okay, so now that we're in 2025, I can finally talk about all of the figures that I thought were awesome in 2024. I couldn't include everything that I bought because certain figures I like them, but I don't like them enough to put them on this list. And there were certain things that I just felt that they couldn't be on the list because I just didn't think they were worth the money. Because certain things were like kind of expensive, and I just didn't want to justify an expensive purchase and try and tell everybody like, hey, go buy this, but it costs too much money. So without further ado, let's finally get started. But the first thing I gotta do is talk about some of my honorable mentions, because as much as I wanted to put these on the list, I didn't think they were good enough to make it on, but they were still worth mentioning. And also, this video is basically going to be a preview for a lot of the upcoming reviews I'm going to have planned for 2025, like in the beginning of 2025. So yeah, a lot of the figures are stuff I reviewed, but some of these aren't, so let's not waste any more time. Okay, so for honorable mentions, first two I want to talk about are the Smile Precure figures that I reviewed, which are Cure March and Cure Peace. I really like these figures, but I have a couple of problems with them, and it's mostly due to balance. Like, Cure March can't fucking stand up on her own easily because her hair is ridiculously big and heavy. So that's just a huge problem. And yeah, some of the articulation isn't super great due to it being like a decade-old figure, but it still holds up mostly. But it's just like the ankles aren't really that good, they can't really pivot or anything like that, like anything notable. And the skirt does hinder the articulation because it's a very tight fit, and it's only a single piece. It's not like split into two, like the Uma Musume figures that I'm going to be reviewing later in the year. But I really do like them because they do at least come with great faces and hand gestures, so you can kind of recreate a lot of the poses that you want to do from the anime. So that's great, and they do have an amazing amount of paint detail. So I have to give them that. And the sculpt for the hair and everything is really accurate. So as much as I love these things, like I love them personally, so I would put them on the list, I want to be a bit more objective with this and just kind of have to put them on the side. The next one I want to talk about is the SH Figure Arts Yamato from One Piece. I don't really talk about Shonen Jump related stuff on this channel because everyone does, so I don't really feel the need to do so. But this figure is awesome, and I like it, but there's only one fucking flaw with it, and it's a severe flaw. And it's the skirt. The skirt, for whatever reason, they decided to make it out of a fucking big-ass hard plastic, and it's split into multiple segments. And they tried to alleviate the problem by allowing you to split it up so you can move it around, but it looks stupid as hell, and it doesn't work, and it adds unnecessary weight to the figure. So I can't recommend this thing, because the only way to really enjoy this figure, in my opinion, is to buy one of those custom skirt pieces from those Chinese sellers. And as awesome as that is, that's not part of the actual figure, and you basically have to like tear it apart at the waist area in order to even access the lower waist, so you can reconnect it to the torso. So it's like, I want to recommend this thing, but only if you can modify the skirt and put a custom one. So that's the only way you can truly bring out the full potential of this figure, because it articulates really well. And the likeness is amazing, and it's super tall and has great range of motion and everything. And I love that it comes with the giant Oni club, but I can't justify that. Like, it's not super expensive or anything, but it's just like, no, the skirt is terrible, and I can't really tell you go buy a custom skirt piece to replace it, because it should be good out of the box. Okay, so the next one are two figures that I did give really good reviews for, but I'm not including them on my list because I don't own these anymore, so it's not fair. But it's the two Figmas I reviewed, the Figma Cobra from Space Adventure Cobra and the Metroid Dread Samus Figma. Both of these are really good figures, especially the Samus. Samus is one of the, like, if I still owned it, it would be like in my top 5, just because it's that good. But I also don't have a personal attachment to Samus, so I kind of don't care. But it's worth mentioning regardless. Like, it has great articulation, has some interesting gimmicks, like the magnet thing, which kind of doesn't work as well as they thought it would because it's a really tiny and weak magnet. It doesn't like fall off, but it like slides down the fridge or whatever that you're putting it on. And it does come with the alternate red blaster arm cannon thing that I don't know the name of because I haven't played the game. but no real blast effects or even a little Metroid or anything. I don't know if there's supposed to be Metroids in that game, but and then Cobra, he only comes with one face expression, which is his smug face. The other one apparently comes with Armoroid Lady, which is also from Cobra. So you would have to get her to get like the winking face, which I swear looks exactly the same. It just has his eyes closed. But other than that, and the Cobra's, you know, pretty old figure. It's like a couple years old. I'm not sure how old, maybe a decade, but it still holds up pretty well. But I'm basically replacing this with the Storm Collectibles one, so yeah, I really wanted to include these two, or at least mention them, because they're good figures. Especially the Samus, like, it's amazing, but the Samus is going up on the aftermarket, so I kind of feel bad that I don't own it anymore. Because I wanted to get one for my brother, because he recently got into Metroid, like over the course of 2024. So, oh well. But I highly recommend the Samus if you can find it for retail price or somewhere around there. Like, it's a fantastic figure. Okay, so the next one is another Figma, which I gave a pretty good review for, but I chose another one over him just because I like that character slightly more. And it's the Demi-Fiend from... the Figma Demi-Fiend from Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Like, you'd think with my bias towards like Shin Megami Tensei, just, you know, wanting to get characters that are actually my favorite characters, I would, you know, put him on my list and make him like number 5 or something, or number 3. But this figure legitimately has problems that are kind of annoying. Like, this has a paint rub issue, like on the, especially on the back of the neck, because the hair like connects to the back of the neck. It rubs up against it. He has some balancing issues with his weird shoes. I don't really like how his crotch piece is designed. It's just a floating piece, so when you kick the legs up, it scrunches it up and it makes it go all the way up. So it kind of covers the torso, which makes it hard to articulate the lower abdomen. He doesn't have any bicep swivel, which is weird, but I kind of get why, due to the design of his tattoo pattern thing. So it would have been kind of hard to implement that. But the other one that bugs me is his proportion. Like, he has these really, like, his arms look like big ass gorilla arms. I don't get that. And also, they're never straight. They're always like slightly curved at the forearm, which is weird. And his shoulders are strange, and they don't allow his arms to go all the way up to where his shoulders should be. So he kind of looks like he's like slouching. I don't like that. And also, there was like a paint issue where some of the paint job wasn't done perfectly, or done like much better, and it was rubbing up on certain parts. Like, there was literally like exposed like skin on certain parts, like near the armpit area, like on his right side, I think. And it just kind of showed like, yeah, like they did a good job with this figure, but they didn't go all the way. So as much as I like, also pulling out the face and the hair is a nightmare, because like the hair has like a gorilla grip or some shit, and I'm trying to remove it so I can change the faces, and it was a really pain in the ass trying to change the faces, just so I can you know, do different expressions and take pictures of it. I'm kind of going on a tangent for Demi-Fiend, but yeah. So I think that's it for honorable mentions, because everything else I actually do want to talk about. So now, without further ado, I can actually talk about the figures that I think were the best of this year. Not necessarily that I bought, that they were brand new releases, I want to make that clear. It's just stuff I bought this year, whether or not it's new or old. So that's typically how my lists work. Like when I did a blog, when I used to do blog posts for video games, talking about my favorite games, I would just include anything that I played that year, even if it wasn't new. So that's how my list works. So let's get started with the actual list now. Yeah, so starting off with an older figure, the Armor Girl Project MS Girl Gundam Wing Zero Custom Endless Waltz version. That's a really fucking long name. So this is basically an anime girl version of the Gundam Wing Zero Custom from Endless Waltz. And it's from an older line from Bandai that they made like over a decade ago, which lasted I think until 2016 or 2018. And I guess they just stopped doing it because it wasn't working. But this figure does have decent articulation. Like the torso and lower abdomen area basically don't function like super well, but the arms work perfectly fine. There's no bicep swivel, which kind of sucks, and the legs are fine, but they don't have like a thigh swivel built in, even though the design would easily be able to hide it. But The thing I like about it is that it's full of gimmicks. Like I like that it makes up for the lack of articulation with the gimmicks, because it basically is an anime girl that wears armor that looks like like a Gundam. So she comes with 2 beam sabers. She comes with the giant fucking Gundam Wing Zero rifles, like the beam rifles. She can wear the armor, so she's like completely clad in battle armor, mecha armor that looks like the Gundam. It's also designed by the creator. It's also designed by the guy who did Galaxy Fraulein Yuna. The creator's name is escaping me right now, but I'll put it up on screen. And yes, the design isn't completely accurate to his artwork that's even on the back of the box, but it looks pretty good, and it still has that cute, like, older style of anime that, like, Yuna's art style is reflective of. And this helped pave the way for stuff like Frame Arms Girl and Megami Device from Kotobukiya, so I wanted to mention it because it was something I really got into, and I might be buying more of these and trying to review them. My only problems are like QC, and also because like this is old. Like I have a problem where mine kind of fucking smells, because I guess it was in a smoking environment, because some collectors just don't take care of their shit. And slight yellowing, I think, on some of the armor, but I can't really tell if that's intentional. Other than that, and I guess limited expressions. It only has one neutral smiling expression, and then a smiling one off to the side, and then one that's like kind of angry looking off to the side. Like I wish it had one looking forward, or like an eyes closed expression or something. But when you put the wings on, like the wings are so fucking cumbersome to do. Like that's such an annoying process. Like it's a nightmare. But like once you set it up and you have it on the stand and everything, and don't touch it, just leave it. Like it looks beautiful when it's like that. But it's such a hassle. That's why I don't want to put it up so high. But I still think it's a really good figure. Okay, now we have the super imaginative Chogoki and Hokkaido. I want to put him higher on the list, but the reason he's so low at the bottom is because he's very hard to find, and it's kind of tricky to search up his name, because there's a lot of older SIC Hokkaido figures that don't pose as well as this guy, but they're all almost around the same, like they have like the same name and everything, so it's very hard to look for this guy. I got lucky, managed to find like one. He's also kind of expensive. I remember this dude being over like 130 bucks, and for that price you don't really get anything. Like you get like the bare essential accessories. Like it's kind of sad. Like he doesn't even come with his badass bike that he had in the movie. Like I know it's not based on the movie version specifically, but like man, it doesn't come with anything except for like some extra hands, a swappable chest, that leg thing that he can, you know, do kind of like RoboCop, and then his gun. Like that's all it comes with. If it came with the bike, I would put him so much higher on the list, but other than that, he has amazing articulation, minus his hips being kind of dog shit due to the way they designed it, and then not being able to bring his arms forward to do more like dynamic gun poses or crossing his arms or whatever. That kind of sucks. And also his shoulder pads are weird because they're not part of the actual shoulder. They're part of they connect to his back, so it kind of hinders his range, and he can't really put his arms all the way up. So that's kind of a problem. But the paint job is clean on this dude. He looks amazing, and he's made out of like plastic and die cast and everything, at least I think so. And he has some slight balancing issues, and he's a little out of scale because SIC is like 1/7 scale, I think. So he's way too tall for certain figures. Like next to a Kamen Rider figure, he's like way too big. But nah, that makes him look cooler though. He's intimidating, he's huge, he's a threat. Like I'm so happy I have this thing, but I kind of have to put him lower just because he's not easy to get, so it's kind of hard to recommend this guy. But he looks fucking awesome. Like personally, I want to put him higher, but I'm going to be a little objective here. Okay, next is the Figma Arcred DX. The reason this is lower on the list is because even though it's a great figure, you need to buy the deluxe version in order to get all of the accessories. And you have to pre-order from the Good Smile website or buy from a third party in order to get the extra face that it comes with, which is the smiling eyes closed face. So I think that's a real pain in the ass. I hate when they do that. But the thing is that it has really good articulation, and it looks exactly like the way Arcred I think looks in the current Tsukihime universe, like in the remake and everything. But the problem is that yeah, you have to pay out the ass for that extra content. And has really weird shoulders, like it's on a straight peg with a ball at the end, and then it just kind of moves around like that. So it functions like a leg joint, which is really weird, and that's not how you want to do arms. You had to do like a hinge system, which Figma always does, and I don't know why they didn't do it this time. It's really fucking weird. And there's no bicep swivel, so it hinders certain poses. And it has some balancing issues with the alternate legs due to the fact that it's like high heels, not just boots. And the leg range is kind of slightly hindered by the sweater being hard plastic. So even if you swap the skirt to the cloth one, you can still get in the way. And also, I don't know what the hell is up with those drop down hips, but it causes the legs to pop off if you try and split a little too far. Like if you try to do like a perfect split, it'll just pop off, which is annoying. But it has a great likeness, and I think it looks extremely good. Also, it's a weird ab crunch. Like, I don't know why they went for a Marvel Legends style ab crunch on a import figure, but they could have just easily done a ball peg. Like, that bottom part of the sweater could have just been like a floating piece, or some kind of really soft plastic to help you crunch forward more. One of the later examples, one of the later figures has a better example of how they could have done it, but yeah, as much as I like this thing, the fact that you have to buy another version of it to get everything, and then you have to buy from a specific store, and like the blood effect just kind of being like an acrylic thing, like I think that's a little lame. But I still think it's pretty cool, but I still think there's some better figures out there. Okay, so for the next one, it's from a series I'm not really that familiar with, but it kind of won me over due to collecting the SHF and now the Figma. It's the Figma Gold Ship. Gold Ship, yes, it has less accessories than Artcrit. And Artcrit in some ways might be able to pose better, but I feel like due to the fact that it's less expensive, and you kind of get all the necessary stuff in just one version of the figure, no extra version or whatever, you get more value for your money. Like, you can get this thing for like 6,000 yen, so that's like less than $50. So I recommend getting it whenever it's on sale. It's usually on sale, and at Ami I think you can get it for a good price, but it looks great. The paint job is super clean. Like the gold trim and the red and everything looks so good. The brown like belt straps is great. It has a paint rub problem, especially on the neck. Like, if you try to make her look up, the neck looks like shit because it's just covered in all the brown paint from the belt piece. So it kind of looks like she put chocolate on her neck or some shit. The articulations are kind of on par with SH Figuarts, like the other Musume figures. It's just that they didn't design the skirt properly, because what they did is that they put the front underneath the side pieces. So then when you kick forward, it fights back, so you can't actually kick it the way you want to. The Special Week figure actually has the opposite, where the front is the part that kicks out, so it's a lot better. But other than that, mine had like some looseness with the hips, because I guess mine is like used, so it's kind of annoying. And the torso is a little loose, but other than that, and it has some slight balancing issues, but other than that, I think it's funny. It's a really funny figure, and I love the expressions on it. And I've been using it for like gags and everything while taking pictures. I think even for this video, I think I was doing it. Also, I don't like its shoulders. The shoulders like have a weird tendency to kind of shrug all the way down because they're on like a ball joint kind of thing. That's kind of weird, but other than that, I think it's extremely good. So even though I'm not super big on Musume, I do recommend you get these. Maybe not Nice Nature. Her figure's too expensive for some reason. I don't know why. So speaking of Musume, the next one I want to talk about is the SH Figuarts Kita-san Black. Just like the Gold Ship, I think this one even has an even better paint job, because this character has so many details in her outfit. It's a very complex outfit with like a howdy, like a vest sort of thing, and a skirt, and like a ribbons, and in like these long sleeves and everything. Like, there's so many different colors and details on it, and they did a fantastic job. Like, typically, SH Figuarts does not have that much detail, like, because they just kind of do it with plain colors and everything, but like, they did such a great job. I love this thing. Like, it kind of won me over with Musume, so this was like one of the first ones I looked at. which hopefully I'll have the review up later this month, maybe? I don't know when I'm doing these, but yeah, I've already recorded the review for this one. This one's great. I love the faces. The faces are good. They all have like the silly like eyes closed face for some reason. The articulation's pretty good. Like it's pretty standard for a female figure, but they went above and beyond with the ab crunch. Like because it has pretty good ab crunch, and I'll give it that. And the legs can split like almost all the way. Good front and back range and everything. It's not hindered by the skirt, like unlike Gold Chip. And it comes with the necessary accessories. But unlike Gold Chip, she doesn't come with a running accessory, you know, to simulate like the running effect from the game in the anime. And no unique figure stand, which is weird because one of the upcoming figures I'm about to talk about after the next one does come with a unique stand. And typically their female figures from certain brands do come with unique stands, which is really weird. Not sure why they didn't do it for Musume. Okay, so now I need to talk about one of my all-time favorites of this year, but he has some problems that hold him back, so he's not at the tippy top. But it's the Figma Guyver 2.0. I gave this thing like a ridiculously long review, but I had to go over every fucking piece of detail. The likeness is on point. It looks just like Guyver. It's so crazy. The proportioning, the detail, like the masculinity, like he's super buff, he's like all armored up and everything, and he looks tall. He's tall. Because when he wears the armor, I think he gets bigger. His articulation is ridiculous for Figma. Like I can't believe this is Figma. It's even better than the damn Samus. The Samus was like probably one of their best figures ever, but Guyver kind of beats the Samus. He has amazing double jointed elbows that actually bend like 180 degrees, even though he's a big chunky like buff guy. His neck is the only part that sucks, but he has an ab crunch and a ball joint underneath the ab crunch, and then he can move his torso underneath, you know, to combine with the ab crunch, and it's like, what the fuck? And then he can crunch so hard, he can actually touch his toes. Like, he can do shit like a normal human. That's crazy. But he does come with some caveats. One, his accessories are extremely lacking. Like I know Kida-san Black doesn't come with a whole lot, but she doesn't have too many things you could include besides like what's absolutely necessary, like the microphone. Guyver has all these crazy attacks and like energy blasts and shit that he can do, and he doesn't come with any of that. He just comes with like the razor, like the higher frequency blade things on his arms. Like, okay, that's necessary, but like, damn. And then he comes with the alternate face, so you can recreate the manga, one of the manga covers, but that's kind of it. And then a bunch of hands. Like, you have to make up for the fact that he doesn't come with faces because he's wearing a mask. Like, you gotta add more. At least he comes with a figure stand, but that's standard for Figma. And personally, I feel like he's too clean looking. Like, I wanted the more gritty art style that the manga and even like the old like 90s/80s OVAs had. So, it looks a little too clean and sleek, but other than that, this is a really awesome figure, and he's a little expensive. I think he's kind of like the same as Arcrid, but he poses way better than Arcrid. Like, I gotta give him like a bajillion points for that articulation. It's ridiculous. It's just that his neck is the only thing holding him back. Like, actual bicep swivel, the shoulder pads are implemented extremely well. They're separated from the shoulder and from the torso. They're kind of their own thing. And you can move them around freely, and it's like, man, they put a lot of thought into this, except for the neck. And also, the biggest fucking problem, which I did mention in the video and I went through in excessive detail, is the knees. The knees are garbage. They are so weak and frail. Like, not like they'll break, but they're like super loose. Like, I don't get it. It created balancing issues and everything when I was trying to do cool poses. And it's like, this is the one Achilles heel that he has. I guess the Achilles knee in this case, but that's what's holding him back from being like number 3 or number 4. So now we can talk about 2 other figures that don't have this problem and are just as good. So the next one is the Figma Raido Kuzunoha from Double Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army. It's a long name. So this is another Shin Megami Tensei figure, and this is the guy I chose over Demi-Fiend because he's cheaper than Demi-Fiend. Demi-Fiend is like, what, 120, 130 bucks? This dude's like 90 bucks or 80 bucks. I forget how much. He's less expensive than Demi-Fiend, and yeah, you could argue he comes with slightly less stuff because Demi-Fiend has like the fire and like the energy blade effect, but Raido comes with the stuff that's necessary. and it actually matters. So he comes with the gun, he comes with the sword, he comes with Goto, he comes with the badass fucking cloth cape. It was my first time messing with cloth, so I was like not really sure how I would feel about it, but clean. And it just makes the figure look so much cooler when you have it like when you mess with the wiring and make it look like dynamic, like he's in the air jumping like down on an enemy or something, or just being dramatic with a cool pose. And he comes with like the little tubes to summon his demons on like various hand pose gestures and everything, so you can recreate like his crossed arms where he's summoning like multiple demons from the tubes, or he has the one hand where he kind of has like 2 extra tubes in his hand. Like, oh man, he looks so great. And yeah, Raido's not really an expressive character, so he kind of doesn't have too many expressions. I just wish the 2 default ones he came with didn't look so similar. One is kind of like slightly more eyes open, and then the other one is kind of neutral. And then I hate that the bonus face is stuck to the Good Smile website, because it came with a Raido face, which is from the alternate universe version of Raido, where he has the cool scars on his face. It's like, man, that's an awesome accessory. Why did you make it like behind an extra paywall or whatever? And he doesn't come with the cool energy effect that the old Bandai figure came with, which is from Raido 2. And that would have really put him over the edge, but it is compatible with that old figure's accessory, so you can use that. And there you go. But the only other problems I have is that he has no bicep swivel. His ab crunch is really good, but it causes his torso to completely like discombobulate and fall apart, so you kind of have to be careful not to pose him too crazy. But he can still get into crazy poses. But the other crippling problem is that, he can't bring his arms inward to do a 2-handed sword pose, which is really annoying and really stupid, because he's a guy with a sword, so he should be able to hold his sword in front of him with 2 hands. But you know what the problem is? Demi-Fiend can do that. And you think I would have given him the points for that, but no, he has his own problems. But other than that, the Raido figure is so damn good. I gave him like a glowing review, and I'm like, no, you gotta get this guy. So I think he's still better than the Demi-Fiend figure. And he doesn't have the paint rub issues, because his very simplistic color scheme. It's just black with white. So that's what I think. I think he's an awesome figure. And he's not super expensive, at least I don't think so. So I recommend you get him, especially if you like Shin Megami Tensei. Also, he's Raido Kuzunoha. Not to be completely outdone by Figma, we have the SH Figuarts Makoto Kikuchi from Idolmaster. So just like the Uma Musume figures, Idolmaster isn't a series I'm like a massive expert in. I just kind of know the girls from like all the fan art and doujinshi and everything, but this figure completely won me over. The articulation, the paint, the likeness and everything, it's extremely on point. Like, I wasn't even a fan of Makoto prior to when I got this figure, but like after I got it, and after I started messing around with it, oh my god, like I'm a fan of this character now. Like, she's my favorite Idolmaster girl, which is funny because I never really had a favorite before that. I really want to mention that it comes with a unique figure stand, because I said that the Uma Musume ones kind of did, they just came with basic ones. She comes with a unique one because she's part of a set of 5 that you're supposed to buy individually, and when you combine them all together, they have like this cool like multi like star-shaped like diamond thing, and it looks really awesome. So all the female ones are kind of the same articulation wise, but they all have like slightly different colors. But I'm choosing Makoto specifically because she was the first one that came out, and she's my favorite. And I think her colors match more, because the red goes with the red and black instead of like streaks of yellow or blue or green. And the guy, his figure isn't as good as the other ones, but my only problems, like my only negatives are, I don't like the knees. The knees look kind of ugly when they're bent, and they're not double jointed. If they were double jointed and they could bend like the way a Megami device could, oh, they would be like, absolutely perfect. And her shoulders, they don't go across the chest, so she can't really like bring her arms in for like a hug or something, but she can still move her arms a bit further, I think, than Kita-san Black. Like these, I think you could kind of interchange the two of them, but I think Makoto wins because she has like less stuff on her. Like she doesn't have like this big like flowing like robe or whatever, or like and a really like a longer skirt. Like she kind of has like a shorter skirt with spats and everything, so she can kind of be more flexible. And the articulation is, I think, better on her. Like she has amazing neck movement. The torso is pretty good, has really good side-to-side lean. She can bend like extremely far back. Like this girl can fucking bend backwards, like literally bend backwards. It's crazy. And the forward lean is extremely good. She can sit down. She can't like lean forward all the way like Guyver can, but it's still pretty good. And she has double jointed elbows. The elbows are great. All her expressions and everything, like the likeness is extremely on point. My only thing is that the skin is a little pale. She looks kind of like she needs to get some sunlight. But the faces, like she's really cute and really nice looking. I'm really happy about that. And they got like the hair on point, the faces and the smiling and everything. She doesn't come with too many accessories, I think. She comes with like just a bunch of hands and then the microphone and the unique stand, but it's kind of all you need. Just like I said about Kita Sunblack, like you kind of just need all of that. And man, like just look at some of the posing here. Like you can have her sit crisscross, you can have her like do Kamehameha poses, you can have her do a whole bunch of really awesome stuff. So you can really bring out like the best in Makoto and really bring out the tomboy. Like I became a fan of this character just because of this figure, and then I ended up collecting the rest of the Idolmaster line, so you know I didn't think that I would be such a fan, but this figure really won me over. Man, I really love this posing on this thing, but there's not too much to talk about in a short version, but I just really wanted to highlight this figure because it's too awesome and it's extremely flexible and can pose extremely well, and it's also very photogenic. And I think this is one of the best SH figures that Bandai has released this year. It's not the best, the absolute best. The best one is later in the list, probably after the next one, but this is probably the best female figure that they've released this year. At least I think so. But you know, some people will argue like, oh, it's this character or that character, but no, Idolmaster is secretly like doing extremely well, and I really hope they expand on this, because I don't only want it to be the 30-minute Sisters model kit line, because those are okay, but they're not as good as these. These are like better than the model kits, which is kind of funny because usually the other way around. But man, like this figure is so awesome. I'm just gonna leave all these photos here, and then we'll finally start talking about the next one. Okay, so now the last Figma I'm going to be talking about today is my absolute favorite one of the year, and it would have been my figure of the year if some of these other figures didn't come out. And also, I don't want to give Figma too much bias. So the next figure is the Figma Mio from Xenoblade 3. I am so fucking happy that Xenoblade finally is getting action figures after only having the model kits from Kotobukiya for like the longest time. Finally things change, we're finally getting action figures. I wish it was Shulk or any of the other actual main characters, but Mio is a pretty good first pick, I guess, because Xenoblade 3 is the most recent. The figure looks phenomenal. It looks exactly like the way I wanted it to. It looks exactly like Mio. There's like some slight visual problems I have, like the way the shoulders look and like the torso, where it kind of just looks like this big gaping hole, and then the shoulders are just kind of tucked in there. So when you like move the arms out, you just get like this big gap here. Also the sweater, as much as I like the sweater, it looks ugly, like the way they cut it up. Like, why does it have those weird flaps on the side? And why does it have that weird hinge on the back? Like, they all function perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the functionality. They just look ugly. It's so bad when it splits up. Like, I guess they could have just made it cloth. But yeah, I guess if they made it fabric, it would look kind of bad, but I would have taken that, I think, because then you'd have better arm range. But other than that, the posability is extremely good, minus the fact that the tight skirt limits some of the leg range, but you can still kind of force it, so you can still get her to sit crisscross applesauce, because she actually has thigh swivel, unlike Raito and some other figures. But like, man, she got great articulation besides like the shoulders and the arms. Like the arms can still bend well, but the shoulders get in the way and kind of mess it up. But the legs are good. The faces are on point. They match Masatsugu Saito's art style completely perfectly. The hair options are great. You get the short hair and the long hair from the later part of the game, which is great. I love that they included that. And the other accessories I think are extremely necessary and fit the character perfectly fine. So you get her ring blades, obviously, and then you get her little journal that she writes in the game, and it actually has like text and shit like scribbled onto the book. Like it's not just a blank page. I kind of wish she had like a hand that would let her hold a pen or something, so she could look like she's writing in it. But that's a minor nitpick. And I really wish you could take off the sweater. That's a bigger nitpick, but oh well. Because they did that with one of those Fate figures, like the Mordred. Like you had an option to take off the sweater or whatever, but oh well. And I just think like the fact that it looks so great, and the torso range is ridiculous on this thing. Like, she can ab crunch almost better than Guyver, I think. Like, she has like that's how you do torso articulation. And for anyone that needs to know, like just watch that clip from my video, and then bam, that shit is crazy. But you know, she has problems with the legs. She has some aesthetic problems with the sweater, and some problems with the shoulders, but besides that, and then she can't really look up with the long hair, and when she does look up, she has a fucking bobblehead syndrome going on there because of the neck joint just being so obvious, so it just kind of looks kind of bad because there's no neck movement, just head movement. But besides that, I'm taking all the caveats and everything. This is my favorite Figma of the year. Even among all the other ones I talked about, like Guyver would probably be number one in Raito, but Mio and my Xenoblade bias I think is kind of taking over. So now we're going to take a break from Figma and finally talk about all the other figures that I thought. These are the top 4. So the top 4, number 4 goes to the Tunchi Studio Terry Bogard. This is my first time buying a Tunchi Studio figure. I was kind of avoiding it because I don't like cloth goods, and like I talked about with Raito, this is my first time trying it, so I kind of warmed up to the idea. Same with Arcred, but the Terry, like, oh my god, this figure is fucking, like, what do they call it? Peak. It's peak. This is like an amazing figure. The likeness is on point. The face looks just like Shinkiro's classic SNK art from like the King of Fighters and Fatal Fury. It looks just like Terry. The arms are huge. You got these big bulky shoulders, just like in classic SNK Neo Geo games. Like, his legs are a little skinny. I think they're a little skinny, but I think that's just maybe how Terry's proportions look, or maybe they buffed up his legs in the newer games. But like, damn, he looks amazing. I hate that you can't remove the hat. Like, the hat is just part of the head, and there's no alternate head where he has no hat. He only has 2 heads, and then a couple of hands. And then he has the power wave effect and he has the power wave effect and he has the burn knuckle, but no power geyser. Like, come on, the power geyser, the fucking Storm collectibles had the power geyser and it looked amazing. Like, I wish it had that. It does light up though, the power wave. It does have a light up feature, but I don't have the batteries for it, so I didn't bother. But like, man, it would look amazing if it had the power geyser. Because he can pose extremely well, even with the cloth. I thought the cloth would get in the way, but surprisingly no. Surprisingly no. I thought it would get in the way, but like a really great ab crunch. The shoulders don't go across the chest too well. They kind of go straight, but Terry's probably not really going to need to do some of those poses, but and his neck articulation's a little limited. Like, he can't look up super well, but he can look down really well and tilt side to side, but man, like, just looking at that thing, it's just like, man, that's Terry fucking Bogard. It's the same way I felt when I looked at, like, when I talked about the other Figmas, like, except for, like, maybe Arcred. Like, when you look at them, it's like, oh, shit, yeah, that is the character. Like, that's how you capture the essence of that character, like, almost perfectly. He has some balancing issues, though, like, with his feet. I don't know what's up with the feet. Like, the weight is at the bottom of the back of his foot, not at the front. So it creates a lot of balancing issues where you kind of have to lean him forward, kind of like a Super Saiyan 3 Goku figure, so he can actually stand up, and that's annoying. And I'm not sure how the cloth will hold up over time, but hopefully it will last as long as possible, so I can enjoy this figure for, I don't know how long, but you can put him in all the iconic poses, and I love that. Put them in all of them. I love it. But he's expensive. This dude's like over 140 bucks, I think, or 130 bucks. Like, and he doesn't come with the most amazing amount of accessories, but he comes with basically what's necessary. Like, but there's another figure that's number 1 that I'll talk about later that definitely is worth the money because it comes with more accessories. But Okay, so now I got another SH figure art, and it's Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. I watched Yu Yu Hakusho at the beginning of this year, the beginning of 2024, and I was blown away by how good the anime is. I've always wanted to watch it, and it was one of my brother's all-time favorite shows, so I finally took it upon myself to watch it, and thank God I did. That shit was amazing. Hunter x Hunter sucks compared to this anime. But, jokes aside, this figure is like 60 bucks. It's like 60 to 50 bucks. You gotta get this thing. It comes with, it has great likeness. It's bare plastic, so you know, it's not like fully painted or anything. They could have definitely put shading and stuff in this and some like line work and everything, but this as like just plain plastic, it looks great. The color separation is clean. There's no paint rub or anything. Yusuke's face is on point. The articulation is ridiculously good. It's like on par with the Terry I just talked about. But like, he can cross his arms, he can do the spirit gun pose properly, he can actually have his arm reach across the other arm, unlike the Premium Bandai Beast Gohan. He has like 5 different faces or something. Like, he comes with all the necessary faces, including that really funny one. He comes with the ray gun slash spirit gun effect, which is absolutely fucking necessary for any Yusuke figure. And it comes with a little stand to adjust the angle of it and everything, and to have it in midair. And it comes with Poochon, the little bird thing that you can put on his head, so you can recreate certain funny moments. It's like everything you want in a Yusuke figure. It just doesn't come with a figure stand because Bandai's cheap. So if you want to recreate the moment where he's like upside down shooting Toguro at the end of the tournament, you can't really recreate that because you would have to hold it up by yourself, I think. But this figure is fucking amazing. This is probably the best figure Bandai released like this year. That's like brand new. So this is my favorite figure from Bandai. And my favorite Figma obviously is Mio, and I guess for Tunchi the only one I have is Terry. But now for the final two. The final two, the second one is an older figure, just like the Gundam Wing, but this one absolutely deserves to be number 2 on the list. It's the Chogoking Rei Casil from Phantasy Star Online. Phantasy Star Online has always been one of my all-time favorite games on the Nintendo GameCube. It's one of my favorite Sega games of all time. And it's very nostalgic to me. So I'm not trying to put nostalgia value as why it's number 2. I have to show you why. So it's a pretty good price. It's not like super expensive. I remember getting it for like $70 or maybe $80. I don't remember how much it's going for now. It has a ridiculous amount of accessories, probably more than the number 1 spot, but it comes with the giant sniper rifle, it comes with the energy blade, it comes with the giant sniper rifle, it comes with the lightsaber, it comes with the mag, the little fucking mag, the thing that floats around behind you, like, it comes with the mag. That's crazy. It comes with the wings that you get, because the mags have like visual upgrades on your character and everything, so you can make it look more accurate to the way the game works. And it comes with clear stands to attach to it, so you can kind of hide like that it's obviously attached to it. It comes with the world's coolest figure stand ever. It's the fucking portal that you use when you travel around in Phantasy Star Online. It's also the logo that you see in the title screen. It's so fucking cool. And then of course it comes with these stickers with the different classes that you have and different races that you are in the game, so you can represent your favorite one from the actual game. And then it comes with the item box, so when you can simulate like breaking the item box. And then it comes with a weapon, the weapon box for like I think it's for a melee weapon, for the red one. I don't remember if it was different between the melee weapons and the range weapons, but you get the red little box to represent the item. And then you also get a speech bubble, so you can recreate the way you can do dialogue in the game, because you can type in words and then you can say shit in the game. And it comes with a stand to hold it up above her. And then it comes with stickers with all these different phrases in Japanese, so you can stick them onto the speech bubble so you can say whatever the fuck you want. Or you can just be like me and just Photoshop it, but oh my god, it comes with so many things. And it comes with a ton of meseta, which is all the money. It just has so many things, oh my god. The only minor problem I have is that the articulation is only lacking in one crucial area, besides maybe the wrists. and that's the fact that it doesn't have waist articulation. It has upper torso, but not lower torso. And that would have put it over the top for me. But that being said, the articulation itself is god tier for like what it's capable of doing. It can look up and down extremely well, tilt side to side. The arms can cross, and she can cross her arms and fold them properly. She can sit crisscross with great leg range and everything. She has great balancing due to having really big feet that are made out of die cast. The whole figure is made out of die cast because it's Chogokin. And it's amazing value for the money, and it's super nostalgia overload. So this thing deserves to be on the list. And I've recorded a review for it. It won't be up by the time this video comes out, so I'm not sure when I'll get to it, but I had to put the Phantasy Star Online figure on here. Like, it's too fucking good of a figure to not talk about. So I'm putting it at number 2. The only reason it's not number 1 is because it's missing articulation in some areas, and also it's an older figure, so it's a little harder to recommend versus something that's like brand new. And then number 1, I was debating putting this number 1, but I kind of have to put it at number 1. It's the CCS Toys Ryoma Nagare from Getter Robo Armageddon. And this has to be like the coolest figure that I bought this year. It's so fucking awesome. It's really tall. I don't know why. I don't remember Ryoma being that tall. He's way taller. He dwarfs like SHF figures. But he's cheaper than Terry Bogard. Like, Terry was like, what, 130 or something? Ryoma's like 9,000 yen, so he's like 70 something dollars or 80 bucks depending on where you get it from. Somewhere between 70 to 90 bucks. And he comes with a boatload of accessories. He comes with 4 different guns. He comes with the 2 guns for Getter Robo. He comes with like a pistol and a revolver. He comes with a ton of grenades for some reason. I'm not sure why he has like so many little grenades. He comes with these cool chains, so you can recreate the look he had in the anime where he escaped from prison and everything. You get the scarf. You get the iconic red scarf, so you can make him look exactly the way he's supposed to, and he always stands out with that big ass scarf. And then he comes with the coat. He comes with the big ass coat, the trench coat. And combined with like his bulky appearance and everything, and like the overall proportioning on the figure, it recreates the look almost perfectly. Like, if you look at his portrait from like Super Robot Wars and then compare it to the figure, on point. What's the other thing? He comes with a figure stand that has the logo from the anime on it. It looks super cool. And then the other thing is that the faces are clean. It comes with the iconic smiling, grinning face. It has like a more neutral face, and it has like some angry faces. And the super angry one where he's yelling is peak like Ishikawa and Go Nagai. Like, it looks exactly like the art style. The only thing is that I wish his eyes weren't looking all the way up, so it's kind of hard to get it in certain poses to make it look right. If it was a little bit lowered, it would look better, but man, I'm just thinking about Getter Robo every time I look at this figure. It's literally injected with Getter rays. And also, it comes with the masked face. The one that he had, I think, early on in the anime, and also you see it in the intro, where he's using the scarf to completely cover his face and everything, and it looks so fucking sick. Like, and it has great articulation too. The only thing is that the gun harness stops his arms from going across the chest, but he has great articulation. His hips are a little weird, so they're a little bit lacking, but everything else is crazy. He can do sideways splits and kick all the way forward and everything. Really good articulation and really good range. I think Terry might be him in the articulation range, but like, Ryoma is number 1 in my opinion because he has the better value for the money and comes with way more stuff. Stuff that's absolutely necessary to the character. So that's pretty much my list. I don't remember how many is on here, but that's pretty much the list for this year, for 2024. And here's to having more figures in the future for 2025. Let me know what your favorite one is in the comments, and that's pretty much it. See ya.